Hi, I'm Roamy. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Lenny Hip carrier, both to carry one child or putting two together to make it into the Lenny Twin carrier. Now, here I've got one of the Lenny Hip carriers. So depending on whether you've bought the twin or the hip, you either get one in the box or two. So I'm going to show you how to put one on as a hip or a front carrier and then how to put the two together to carry two. So if you want to skip forward to whichever bit's most appropriate, that's absolutely fine. So here you've got the Lenny Hip carrier, and if you've seen a standard Lenny Lamb carrier, it's a very similar concept that you've got an adjustable waistband here. So this is the waistband, and it's got Velcro to adjust it. So I'm just going to adjust this to make it narrower. Now the dolls I'm using are about 3 to 4 month old size, so it will depend on how big they are. It does actually have a little measure on the inside to show the width for your babies. So you can have a look at that, but I generally find it's easiest to do by a bit of trial and error. So try it on the narrowest, see how that works. If you need it a little bit wider, once you've put them in, then obviously you can adjust it for next time. So I put it pretty much to the narrowest setting there. Okay, I'm now going to clip it on because I find it easier to adjust the next bit once it's on. So I've got that all adjusted and folded down. I'm then going to bring this around. So undo the elastic, so it's all loose, and loosen that off. Now I'm going to put, when I'm doing just one baby, I'm going to put them around on my left hand side, and you can do whichever side you want. So I'm bringing this all the way around, so it's straight, loop it through the little elastic, and then clip it together in there so it goes click. Now you want this to be snug but not uncomfortable, and height wise it will depend on how tall you are and how big your baby or babies are. I'm going to put it on my waist for this size of doll, but as they get bigger you may want to put it lower, or if you've got quite a long torso you may want to keep it on your waist or higher. So I've got that clipped together. I'm now going to show you the front of the carrier. So if you see on the front here, I've got these adjusters. So this will adjust the panel height. So again, I'm going to make it smaller because I've got a little baby that's going to be going in. You can actually adjust that once baby's in there though. So I'm going to make it fairly small, but we can always lengthen it if we need to once they're in, and just check it's even on both sides height wise. Now the final bit to do is just adjust the shoulder strap. So you've got your sort of slightly stretchy shoulder strap here, and each of them has a tightener. So I'm just going to undo from the elastic all of the tightener and lengthen that off a little bit, and then do the same on the other side. Now, whichever one of these is going to end up behind you, you're going to want to have a little bit tighter than the one at the front, because when you pass this over your head, you're going to want to have enough slack to get it over your head and then tighten forwards. So the one at the front, I'm just going to loosen off and take that through the elastic for now. Loosen that off so that when I'm going to bring this up over me and baby, there's enough to get it over both of us, but so I don't have to do loads of tightening on the backwards one once they're in. So you can play about with how loose or how tight you need it to be. You obviously don't want to have to do loads of tightening once they're in, but you want enough so you can get it over both your heads comfortably. So there we go, I've adjusted all of that. So this one at the front is all long, the one at the back is lengthened a little bit but not too much, but I've got that loosened so I can tighten it if I need to. Okay, so now I've got the width adjusted, the height adjusted, and the strap extended. I can pick up my baby. So yeah, this demo doll is around sort of 4 months old. So all you do is you're going to hold them centrally over the panel, and you want the panel, if you're going to have them on your hips, somewhere between front and side, so wherever you'd naturally carry baby. So give them a cuddle on your side and just check you've got an even amount of panel either side between their legs. Ideally, if you can manage to hold them with their bottom below their knees, that's great, but we can adjust it once they're in. So hold them with the hand on the opposite side to where the carrier is, and then slide this panel up over their bottom and back, so you're holding them with the material. Okay, so you can see here this fabric is coming up to their armpit, so that's okay if they've got full head control, but I want to make it a little bit longer for this one because I want it to come up to the nape of their neck. So I'm just extending it a little bit on either side by lifting these. And similarly, if it was going too high, when you start to put babies in, you can adjust it. So I'm just going to bring this up very gently, just ease the fabric up so it's coming up nicely. Anywhere between the earlobes and the armpits is fine if they've got full head control. If they haven't yet got head control, you want it to come up to the earlobe or nape of neck. So you want it a tiny bit longer. If baby hasn't got head control yet, obviously this one has. So I'm just going to bring it a little bit higher like that. Okay, so you're going to hold them with the hand on the opposite side to where baby is. Then you're going to take this strap and you're going to pass this up and over your head and baby's head to the opposite shoulder. So this is coming over here. So keep holding baby with one hand. Make sure this is nice and smooth over your shoulder. So it's pretty quite hard to see on a black top. And just bring that round. So we've got the stretchy bit sort of fanned over my shoulder there. I'm going to take this one here and put it down and towards baby to tighten it up. Okay, actually I've guesstimated that pretty well. So bring this piece out over your shoulder so it's fanning over your shoulder. You want to make sure your baby is held as tight as if you were holding them in your arms. So actually I've adjusted that so I've got just the right amount of tightness that I don't need to do anything on the back one. However, if you do find you need some extra tightening, I'm just going to reach around here, find this one and just pull that way. So you're pulling it diagonally to tighten that one if you need a bit extra. Once you've got it adjusted for you, you should just be able to use the front one, but the first time you may need to use that. So key safety things are, firstly, you can see baby's face and they've got clear airways. Again, as we've said before, you want it no higher than their earlobe, no lower than their armpits if they've got head control. If they haven't yet got head control, you want it up to their nape of their neck, earlobe, so they're held securely. Check that their little knees are coming towards you, so they're sitting comfortably. You want to make sure this is going from one knee to the other, but not overextending their knees, so it's sitting nicely here. It's called an M position, bottom lower than knees, and legs hanging straight down. Check they're nice and snug against you, so they can't slump. If you're not sure if they're held nice and snug, rest your hand on their head and just gently lean, and just check their body doesn't come away from you. If it does, you can tighten it up either by pulling this one here or this one here. So we've done our checks. We checked they're nice clear airways, you check they're nice and snug, and check they're sitting comfortably, and check the height of the carrier is all sitting correctly. Or yeah, again, if you need to adjust it, you can obviously loosen or tighten these here. So that is essentially it for this one. Once you've got it adjusted, if you want to, you can tidy away all these bits of elastics. This is on the waistband, it's quite long. So I'm just going to roll this up into here and then pass the elastic, can't see now, pass the elastic back over the top of the webbing just to neatly tidy it away like it was when it arrived. You can do the same on this one if you want. Obviously you're going to be loosening it off again to take them out, so it depends on how long you're going to be keeping them in as to whether you want to tidy that away. So that's for on the hip. If you had them on the front, it's exactly the same. All you do is you'd have the carrier around on your front like this rather than on your side, and all the other tightening is exactly the same. It's no different. So you can either have it on the front or you can have it on the hip. Obviously on the hip is what it's primarily designed for because it's a one shoulder carrier, but say baby's fallen asleep and you want to just move them around, you can bring them around onto your side. So that's how to use one of the hip carriers. I'm now going to show you how to combine the two. So to get baby out, what we're going to do is you're going to lift the buckle right here. So just lift that up, lengthen it, and then you're going to pass that back over your head. So I'm going to lengthen it quite a lot because that makes it easier to pass over. There we go, like that. And then you can take baby out. So that one's now all set up on this side. I'm now going to set one up for the other side. So I've got the other half of the twin carrier here. So as I said before, if you bought it as a twin carrier, you'll have two in the box. If you haven't bought it as a twin carrier, you've bought it as a hip carrier, you'll just have one in the box. So it really depends on which one you've bought. But you could obviously buy a second one if you needed to. Right, so I'm adjusting this across so it's sitting centrally. So when you're looking at it and you adjust it, just make sure you've got the same number sat on either side. So mine's going up to the 4. So just check you've got that on either side so this is sitting evenly. Again, once you've adjusted it, you're not going to have to keep doing that. You're just going to need to do it sort of every so often. So I've got mine on the narrower setting again because that seemed right on this side. And then I am actually going to adjust this before I put it on. I'm just going to adjust the front panel a little bit. Like that on either side. So you can just either before you put it in or after. So I've just adjusted the height of the panel and now I'm just going to unroll the webbing so it's longer on both sides. Okay, and unroll that one too. Now this is designed that you can basically clip the two carriers together. However, if you are very petite and you find that you can't, that it's too big when you join them together, you can wear them both individually, but I think most people will find they should be able to join it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this one here. So this is the one I've already got. Bring the elastic around, and then I'm going to take the clip of the other one and clip it in to there. Let's bring the elastic around over it. Where's the elastic on there? bring the elastic over it and clip that together there. And I'm going to tighten that up a fair amount, because on the front you're going to want to have your babies fairly close together, so I suggest always tighten the front one as far as it will go, and then we'll have the looseness around the back. So I'm going to keep hold of that, and I'm going to swivel this right the way around so I can find the other clip. So I've got the clip of this one here, and I've got this one here, which is very, very long, so I'm going to shorten this off. Bring that all the way around, find your little elastic and pass that around over the clip, and then you're going to clip that together into there. Right, so I've got now the two carriers joined together. So I'm going to swivel this right back around to the front. Now this piece should be covering over the buckle there, so it's not going to be near baby's legs. And I'm just going to tidy this one away just because it's hugely long with it at its tightest setting. Now obviously how close together you have these two will depend on your size and also how big your babies are. So the bigger they are, probably the further apart you're going to want these to be. I'm just going to roll that all the way up. Now, if you find, as I've just found here, these are actually quite far apart around me, there is a way we can now adjust this. So I've just put this on. I've got this on the tightest setting, but I think they're going to be quite far under my armpits. So what I am now going to do is undo this one again. And having said I wanted these even on here, I'm now actually going to move all of them across slightly towards the centre. So the entirety of this Velcro does lift off, so you can sight this a little off centre. So I'm going to move this across. So I've got 5 on that side and 3 on this side. This should mean that the babies will sit a little bit closer to my middle, which I think is going to be more comfy for me. So this is something that's going to be very personal to you. So I've just moved those a little bit closer on this side. So I've got 3 at the front, 5 at the back, and then I'm going to do the mirror on the other. So I'm going to move them to the left on this side. So it goes across. So this goes right up to the 3. It's a little bit awkward to do. You might want to do this on a table or something. And again, once this is all adjusted, you're not going to need to do this every time. And then 5 on that side, and then make sure all your Velcro is pushed down. Again, bring that one across. And you may also find that if you've got babies which are slightly different sizes, you need to have them adjusted slightly differently. Right, so now I've got those slightly closer to the front. So if I bring this around, swivel that all the way around, and put that on there, and I now do it up like this. And clip it together. Can you now see that these are a little bit closer towards my centre, so I'm not going to have the babies quite so far under my armpits, which I think is going to be a lot comfier. So I've adjusted all this one to put it on. I'm going to do the same with this one. So I'm going to lengthen off the one at the front a fair amount. I'm going to bring it back through that elastic too. And then the one at the back, I think I'm going to leave as it is because it was pretty good on the other one. So I'm loosening that one right off. Now, which baby you put in first is entirely up to you. A lot of people tend to have a preference. They tend to always put one baby in first or always do one side first. It's totally up to you. I'm going to start with this side just because I know this one is all set up for the baby on here, and then I'll show you the other side after. So just like we did for carrying one, you're going to support baby and slide this up over their bottom and back. So you hold them either across their shoulders or the top of their back. Hold them with the opposite hand and pass this strap right over like this, and then you're going to tighten it up by putting this forward, and just make sure you get this fanning over your shoulder. This is the stretchy bit. So once you've got it tightened, just bring this over your shoulder so that when you tighten it, so not twisted, when you tighten it, it basically cups your shoulder like that. I should have worn a different colour t-shirt. So tighten that right down towards baby, so they are nice and snug. And so the key checks are, firstly, you can see their face and they've got clear airways. They're nice and snug. If they've got full head control, you can have the carrier down to their armpits but no lower. If they haven't got head control, you want it up to the nape of their neck or their earlobe. Okay, just check they're sitting comfortably with their little knees tucked towards you. So check that baby is nice and secure and snug before you pick up your second one. So here's my other baby. I'm just going to gently turn my doll's head so it's facing the other way. There we go. So you're going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So this baby is held, so you don't need to worry about holding them, but obviously you're going to need to reach around them. So you're going to hold baby where you want to carry them and gently slide this up over their bottom and back. Now if we need to adjust the panel height, we can do that on these. So you can pull these down or up. It's going to make it a little bit shorter on this one. So I'm going to put baby down before I do this. So I'm just going to tighten those down a little bit because this baby is a bit smaller than my other one. There we go. And then pick baby up again. Okay. So again, give them a cuddle and slide this panel up over their bottom and back. So you're holding them across, that feels better. Now you're going to hold them with the opposite hand, so the one that's holding the other baby. And then you're going to pass your arm through this and pass it over your head and over the baby's head, but so it's coming between you and your first baby. Now again, I'm going to bring my slack around and tighten this down and forward. This will go towards my neck to begin with because I haven't brought this across, but that's just keeping it away from this baby here. Okay, once you've got it fairly snug, you're going to get your elastic piece here. If I can find the edge of it. There we go. And then I'm going to gently bring this out over my shoulder like this. So each one is stretching out. It's actually really nice and stretchy, this material, so it's very comfy. Okay. So now I'm going to just gently bring this up. So this baby's a little bit loose still, so I'm going to just tighten that off that way. That has popped it off my shoulder a bit, so bring that back over my shoulder. So typically my phone just ran out of storage just as I got towards the end. So I'm just going to run through the checks for this baby. So check you can see their face and they've got clear airways. Check they're nice and snug. Check they're sitting snug against you. Make sure this is no higher than their earlobes, but if they've got full head control, you can have the top edge down to their armpits, but no lower. And then just check their legs are sitting comfortably. So that is how to use the Lenny Hip carrier to carry one baby, or combined with another one, the Lenny Twin, to carry two babies. And one final bit, how to get them out. So to get babies out, you're going to hold your baby that you're going to loosen and lift this right up and pass it back over your head. And then you're going to reach around and lift baby out. And then you're going to do exactly the same with the other. So you're going to lift this right up, pass it back over your head, and you can lift your baby out. And then you can just undo this around here. So that's how to use the Lenny Hip carrier or the Lenny Twin carrier, which is two Lenny Hip carriers combined, to carry either one baby or two. I hope that was helpful.